If somebody feels I'm badly behaved, I'll work on improving myself towards them. But if somebody feels, अरे वो तो बोनी कपूर का बेटा है, उसको कोई हक नहीं कि वो कुछ, I can't change that. I lost my mother.
Yeah.
I was going through emotional hell. So if I'm doing an interview, my mind and my heart and soul was not there for the first year. मुझे काम मिल रहा था, मैं काम कर रहा था. I was just trying to figure out. I live alone with my sister. I was trying to understand how do I take care of myself financially, my sister financially. It's not like people think that my father was not always around taking care. He was handling his own family, his own life. My parents split up when I was 10 years old. So I've learned to be grown up very early in life. And in that moment, I just felt that was the right thing to do, is lend my support in whatever capacity I could and be there to start with for my father. And then eventually that meant that we got a chance to know Khushi and Janhvi. I didn't have enough people around me when it happened to me. I genuinely wish I had more people who could guide me.
Today we are going to talk about something which I think nobody other than you has better knowledge of. So basically, you know, the coronavirus situation is there and the business is getting affected, movies are getting affected. And I don't think more sensible than you in putting out how the situation actually is in the industry. So yes, that is why welcoming Arjun Kapoor finally in a conversation with me. But एक चीज है कि this is the I think you're completing 8 years on 11th of May. I remember going and watching your film 2 days before my birthday, and I was like, I really love that film. I think it's one of the most special films. You know, but Arjun, how do you see your career shaping up? Do you think like when you must have debuted, a lot of people must have asked you where do you see yourself 5 years, 8 years, 10 years down the line? Do you somewhere feel that you've achieved what you really envisioned for back then? Or do you think there's a lot to achieve which you will do in the next few years, putting a plan?
I'm assuming you must have done some interview back in the day. So if you ever go back and check, I am that guy who said that I was just grateful that I was getting to do this. If somebody had asked me in 2010 कि यार 2020 में तू हीरो होगा, तेरे पास you'll have 2-3 films in the pipeline, you would have done about 14-15 films and you would be leading a settled life, I would have laughed at that as a fat 23-year-old kid who had as a 24-year-old kid who had no idea what the F is going to happen. So from the perspective of being a nobody, and I genuinely believe I was a nobody. That time there was no social media and paparazzi culture for film industry kids to even be known. And I was anyways a low profile kid. My mother lived separately. It was a different life altogether at that point in time. So 10 साल पहले अगर कोई मुझे बोलता, या 8 साल पहले जब इश्कज़ादे रिलीज होने वाली थी उसके पहले in 2011-2012, I would have taken what I have right now. I would have grabbed it and said thank you, yeah, this is enough, you know. This would mean because no educational qualification, the only thing I knew is that I'm getting a chance to be an actor, I'm grabbing it. So I was as vulnerable as, and I hate using the word struggle, and I know people question the fact that in the industry you've grown up and you have everything. I didn't grow up in that luxury that people assume. There was my own struggle. I had my own journey, and I'm not comparing. Struggle and journey is not always financial. It is emotional.
A lot of people who don't know you in the beginning, they have a certain perception about how you are. Like I remember before I did my first interview, I was actually warned that listen, he can be a little moody and aggressive, but believe me, I feel that you have been one of the nicest human beings from the business, and I'm not even kidding, and you know it. Do you think that there's a certain perception that comes, like you said, that people do feel that you have had a certain privilege because you have a filmy surname, but of course your struggles have been very internal, and a lot of people do know about it. They may know or hear about it, but they tend to overlook it at times.
So there is a preconceived notion which now यार अब मैं कितनों का दिमाग बदलूंगा हर रोज बोल के. You rather do it with the actions, and over the course of life, people, if they're judging you for your surname, then it's not worth winning them over. You know, if people are judging you for the person that you are, I'd still work towards that. So if somebody feels I'm badly behaved, I'll work on improving myself towards them. But if somebody feels अरे वो तो बोनी कपूर का बेटा है, उसको कोई हक नहीं कि वो कुछ, I can't change that. No, that is just your personal thought process. If you have an angst towards any human being whose family has worked hard enough to have some kind of legacy or name, and that boy is coming in and minding his own business, doing his job, and going back home without creating any negativity in your life, you want to have negativity towards him, मैं क्या करूँ उसका यार?
True.
And this pressure didn't exist till 2, 3, 4 years back. This terminology coming in and suddenly social media coming in, it's created a have and have not situation. In the film industry, there are no barriers. Eventually, सब लोग सबके साथ काम कर रहे हैं. Because
But
most
was this
people,
your approach forever? Was there a point of time when this did get to you?
no. So I'm talking about for the people that are always negative about you. But then eventually, over a course of life, when I became an actor, I lost my parent, I lost my mother.
Yeah.
I was going through emotional hell. So if I'm doing an interview, my mind and my heart and soul was not there for the first year. मुझे काम मिल रहा था, मैं काम कर रहा था. I was just trying to figure out. I live alone with my sister. I was trying to understand how do I take care of myself financially, my sister financially. It's not like people think that my father was not always around taking care. He was handling his own family, his own life. So the problem was people in the first year or two made a lot of judgments about my personality because I was quiet. I look somber and serious. I had done action films, so people thought ये मारपीट करने वाला आदमी है.
So
They
I
thought
think
I'm a
you
little
serious for sure. That is for sure. You
no, and
used to look
a lot of people thought I'm arrogant because I didn't look at people and say hi, how are you and all. But यार मैं अपने अंदर खोया हुआ था. I'm allowed to go through what I
absolutely.
went through. Anybody else would be forgiven. I was judged because I didn't make an extra effort towards everybody to begin with. And I was not in a place to make any effort, boss. I was going through my own hell. But a lot of people made a lot of preconceived notions. Like I'm sure the ones that told you to be careful, it was
Of
only
course.
because I'm a straight shooter. I talk straight. Aaj bhi I'm talking to you straight. I'm not mincing my words and I'm not being politically nice and saying, nahi, I'll put up a facade and saying, yay and happy life. यार मैं नहीं हूँ वैसा. I feel if you judge me on the fact that you're not liking my films or my work, I'm very okay with that because यार मैं 2-3 पिक्चरें खराब करूंगा, एक आध तो अच्छी कर ही लूंगा where you'll forgive me eventually. But if you're going to just judge me for being alive and being somebody's son, that shows a lot about your upbringing and your thought process rather than mine.
You said
Yeah.
that you are going through hell, which is of course what happens when you lose a parent. But the time that you lost your mom, do you somewhere feel terrible that she wanted to see your film? She got to see, I think, rushes of the trailer of the film, if I'm not wrong, but she couldn't see the film. Does that hurt? Does that feeling or hurt you ever? Like when you think about it,
Of
because
course,
I know
I
that
mean
you're a
that.
deeply
Of
emotional
course,
person. When I read your posts,
that
I,
that goes without saying. Yeah, that I think that's a pretty natural emotion. If I didn't, if let's put it this way, I all the success and the failure and all the love and the hatred and everything in these 8 years uh, is all handleable. But what's not handleable is the fact that I don't have it. आप मुझे जितनी नफरत दोगे मुझे चलेगा. आप मुझे जितने lows दिखा दोगे चलेगा. Because I've seen the lowest of lows. I've lost my mother 45 days before I was about to embark on maybe the toughest point in my life where I was going to become an actor that the world was going to see. So just when I was about to stand up on my own 2 feet, my backbone snapped. So after that, yeah, everything else seems a little small in comparison. So, yeah, if you're saying does it hurt, or of course it bothers me, and time doesn't heal. You just learn how to handle it better. But I'm not the first person, and I won't be the last person, unfortunately, who will go through personal crisis. I don't let that come in the way, uh, and I don't talk about it in a negative way because I don't want people feeling that I'm looking for sympathy because I've never asked for that. I would have played that card in the beginning of my career with my first film. I would have been that guy.
and you
I've
never did.
tried to be I've tried to be as straightforward and normal, like I say, as possible. So yeah, I go through my moments, but that's not everybody for everybody to see. But and when I post, it's always out of good memories to because I know, like you said, there are so many people that miss her as well. So I feel that's my way of connecting with people that love my mother. And she had this wonderful, beautiful personality where she connected with people she didn't even know. So even today, I'm meeting after 8 years of her demise. I still get to meet people who tell me that, "Arey, we knew your mom, and she would message us, and she would talk to us, and she would be in touch with us." Um, so I think she's left a beautiful legacy. I think she's left a half reasonable legacy here with her one child and a pretty
Half
amazing one with her with yeah, and a pretty amazing better half with Anshula.
I agree because I
So,
think she's
so,
the strongest Kapoor and the best Kapoor ever. And I'm saying it.
so yeah, and that comes from my mom only. So I would say, yeah, there is genuine beats of anguish and heartbreak and pain, but at the same time, she only would have told me, you have to get up and fight the good fight. I've been doing that since I was very young. My parents split up when I was 10 years old. So I've learned to be grown up very early in life, and somewhere I try and be as mature about it and handle it the best of my ability. But the pain always will stay. And it'll always be bittersweet. So when somebody talks nicely about my mother, I feel very proud that I'm her son. But at the same time, I miss her. And that's, I think, normal for any child.
But I want to know that, there was a point of time, like you said, that you had a difficult childhood because your mother and father separated when you were just 10, but your sister was 5. So you had to grow up pretty early, like you said. Because of
Hmm.
the situations in life and how you had to mature suddenly, all of a
Hmm.
sudden, do you think that today, when a similar situation happened with your other sisters, which is Shri Ma'am's death, whether it's Janhvi and Khushi, it was you were the strongest pillar of support for the entire family. You could be the backbone for the family.
I guess, I mean, see, you don't always connect the dots. You just, I reacted to situations the way they happen in real time. Couple of years down the line, now today, it's easier for people to assess that you do what. So my mother taught me to be a good human being, to be as decent to other people as possible. And in that moment, I just felt that that was the right thing to do, is lend my support in whatever capacity I could and be there to start with for my father. And then eventually that meant that we got a chance to know Khushi and Janvi. Uh, but this linking of what happened to me, allowing it, is obviously a very subconscious thing. It's not something that happens in that moment where you're thinking of it. But yeah, um, I guess the maturity that I have comes from the
Yeah.
fact that I've seen life, and if I can help, if my life was shaken and uprooted at one point, and if I can stabilize somebody else to some degree and make sure that they don't go through the hell that I did, I feel that's a pretty decent use of my experience. No matter how unfortunate it was, if I've learned out of that, I've learned that you need people around you when this happens. I didn't have enough people around me when it happened to me. I genuinely wish I had more people who could guide me. I wish I had somebody who was, and I'm not saying this in a pompous way, but who was sensible enough like me, who's already working in the profession. And I hope I can part some wisdom to Janvi about how to be as a person and handle the bad days. Forget good days, we can all handle. It's just the bad days that you need help for. Um, so yeah, I guess I am sensible that way. I have to take tremendous pride in that. I'm my mother's son. I'm a very sorted person, and if I'm able to put the unfortunate part of my life to use to make somebody else's life slightly better, then I would do that 10 times out of 10. And that's exactly what I did. And it wasn't anything else.
Thank you so much for doing this. It
Thank
was lovely.
you.
Of course, it was lengthy because it's you and me, so it cannot end. But yeah, and please give my love to Anshula and
I
tell
shall.
her that once this lockdown is over, I'm going to literally hold you and Anshula together to do that special interview that's been pending for 1.5 years. So my
Oh,
next
that.
target
No,
is that.
now I'll speak to you next year. No, bye, 19.
Not possible.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye.